Today we have with us Magdoom Mohamed, the Managing Director of WAN-IFRA South Asia. Welcome to Sri Lanka, Magdoom. The Asian economy has witnessed a boom while Western economies have shown a descending trend. Where do you position the global media industry in general and the print media in particular in this challenging environment?
Asian economy, Asian print media. You look at newspaper industry or newspaper industry. Asian media has fared fairly well in terms of print because of various challenges, like structural challenge the industry went through.
Yes.
Whereas in the Western economies, by far the biggest change that happened was the influence of internet on people's usage, and also the availability of connectivity. That's really changed the way people look at media for consume news, etc. So that it was easy for people to get into and access news and etc. on the internet and then mobile, etc. Whereas in Asia, like we're not that much connected, very well connected. Even if you bisect Asia into further South Asia, and it is more, you will find that the connectivity in South Asian countries is not compared to, for example, either Singapore or some other country. So that way, we are behind the sense. We are in an advantageous position in terms of the newspapers concern. So therefore, when suddenly newspapers are not in a position to take benefit of the digital divide that happened in the West. So they lost the market. Whereas private players with entrepreneurial venture, they took benefit of that. Whereas in Asia, we still have a lot of time to for newspapers to grow, and then still be read by a lot of people. But you can expect that this will soon come to us also one day. Not be 1 year, 2 years, maybe 5 years down the line. We'll see that newspapers, Asian countries also have see a similar trend, and then but there's a time for newspapers to be prepared and to eventually be ready for such a kind of developments that will come to us. Yeah. So I'll say make hay while sun shines, but better be prepared for a rainy day tomorrow. Right? Now information for people. Okay, today I have plenty of choices. As a reader, not just newspapers. Newspapers is not the primary, the source of information. So there are so many. The threat is that your threat is from internet, threat is from TV, and all these digital, connectivity is only helping the other industry. So the major threat I would say is how do we get readers to look at the print media to consume. Challenges, the manpower, and do we have, we see that threat is newspapers not as a primary medium for consuming news, but the challenge is how do we prepare our people, our own, staff, etc. How do we prepare the organization to be, to make newspapers, first source of media. There is something like, giving what readers want and what readers like. So this is one of the issues. Newspapers, for example, if you look at the trending, in internet, we'll say that the trending is that people are interested about something about sports, or it could be about movies. That could be on the trend. Whereas tomorrow, if we take the newspaper headline, it could be about not about what is being trended, but it's generally about it could be on some political issue or economic issue. So because our editors felt that we have to give something that what is important to them. Let me tell my reader this is important to you. So but whereas the internet works opposite around. Okay, we give what readers want. So but what's the challenge? Challenging out to how do we give that information that we think they need in the way they like it, So that should be the challenge. So for that, our editors, our manpower has to be trained in a way to present the news in a way that they like it. So that's all challenges I see. Yeah.
So, in your view, how should we overcome these challenges?
Yeah. We should be, the organization should be, made ready to capable of, taking a, benefit of, the digital, that we have. Prepare organization to be digitally ready tomorrow when it comes. Not wait for the moment, when the breaking point comes and then we prepare. Like prepare the organization now. Invest in, manpower, invest in people, invest in infrastructure. We should have our organization ready to face that kind of a challenge, and be there like where our leaders want to. Yeah. So it could be on. They may want to be. To get reached in internet or mobile. We should have at least some platform, something to be started now itself. Yeah.
So, what are the main factors that differentiate South Asian print media industry from that of the rest of the world?
See, in the Western world, it is fashionable to say that the print is dying. Okay. Even before, like the print is dead, they want to bury print. So whereas, like it is not the case. Whereas we still see a growth in print media, in Asian countries. But at the same time, we can't be complacent and say, okay, I have my next, my generations with me. This will soon change. The learning curve from the digital is much faster than what we see, in digital. So you never know how this, the consumption of, news, etc. More usage of digital will, turn out to be. So we got to prepare ourselves. One of the recent developments in Western world that happened is selling of Washington Post to Amazon, one Jeff Bezos. The interview, the Graham family said, okay, the newspaper, their value or circulation has really gone down a bit, and now they are not in a position to, sustain that. Before it goes completely, we wanted to sell out and go. But interesting to see how Jeff Bezos will develop that. So I'm only seeing that something like this eventually happens in the Asian market also, like maybe 10 years down the line. I don't know. Okay, some people newspapers say that, okay, let me sell my newspaper to one of these fellows like who has got a lot of money. But should we have clear indications and lessons from Western world to safeguard ourselves. So this is a time to be active, and also prepare our organization, participating in forums, exchanging ideas, and then collectively, we take care of industry. The sunset is not there. We can prolong it much longer, but one day it's definitely we have to be prepared for the eventuality.
You spoke about knowledge sharing. Are there any possibilities of increasing synergies between Sri Lanka's media industry with that of other Asian countries?
Yeah, see, for example, WAN-IFRA plays a role, in bringing publishers together, like-minded people to share and discuss. Like we have various committees, like various programs that we offer. For example, WAN-IFRA has got a program called e-news, where the group of newspapers come together, talk about the future of industry and new ideas. These kind of industry associations give way for new joint ventures, new partnerships, etc. So I'm sure that it's a time that we all share and learn from each other, and WAN-IFRA and our organization provide that kind of platform where industry should benefit from each other.
What is the role and mandate of WAN-IFRA?
See, WAN-IFRA has got our primary focus is efficient and profitable business for niche publishers. Okay, when it's efficient, in terms of our operations, how efficiently we can it can be lean structures, it can be modern modern ways of operation. At the end of it, sustainable and efficient running of business. Same time, also we also have work for quality journalism, and investigative journalism and and freedom of press, etc.
What is the World Publishing Expo 2013 and what type of benefits would the participants gain through this summit?
Yeah, see, in World Publishing Expo, it's an annual exhibition come convention of WAN-IFRA, happens in Europe. It will be in the first week of October in Berlin, where more than 250 suppliers of various products and solution to newspapers, news publishing companies will be there, right from printing machine manufacturers to workflow solution providers, consumable suppliers, pre-press equipment suppliers, digital media suppliers. Everybody will be there. It's like in one unique place where we can meet the vendors of suppliers of solutions and products to newspaper industry, news publishing industry. I would put it that way. Industry, it happening there, and apart from that, there will be, 4 conferences that will go along with the expo. We have an exclusive program about newspaper publishing in terms of production and modern ways of production. And we have a program about publishing news in apps and tablets, and there is a program about Newsroom Summit. Newsroom Summit talks about modern ways of working in newsroom. A South Asian conference, a WAN-IFRA South Asian conference happening in September. September 11, 12, 13 in Bangalore, which is kind of a smaller version of what we are going to see in Berlin in October. So where we expect more than 600 conference delegates and about 1,500 visitors to the expo. Okay, this again will have an exhibition where there are about 75 exhibitors, and then there will be a parallel program for advertising people, for editors, and also for production people. So WAN-IFRA has got this regional focuses where we are bringing in what is there in Europe and in the Western world to our to the publishers and newspaper executives in every region. So that's what it's about. So there's a global focus and there's a South Asian focus, so people can benefit from both. Yeah.
How important is innovation for the print media industry?
Very much important actually. See, today if you say the successful organizations are the ones who are constantly innovative. Innovation, it could be about creating new forms of advertising, new forms of reporting, and then innovation could lead to efficiency in the process of the work. It could lead to more money, more profits, and reduce cost. Yeah, innovation. I think it's very vital for newspaper industries to grow and develop this. And in this context, I see that Ceylon Today has done a very good work in terms of advertising innovation. So we are going to have and also Ceylon Today is presenting their success story in our conference in Bangalore. The idea is to innovation wherever it happens, it has to be showcased, and then so that industry could learn and benefit from each other. Yeah. So absolutely necessary that innovation has to be the focus of any company for that matter.
How has the emergence of social media impacted our industry?
Very much actually. Today, whatever that happens, so social media has got both. One is our readers, they get onto social media, to look for any news or just to post their views and impression. Same time, social media also helps editors to get to know what is happening around industry. Following social medias like Twitters, etc. They can keep themselves abreast of developments happening across, which they can the difference between the social media and our traditional reporting. Social media cannot go in depth into, or rather they don't have the expertise to go in depth into the story. So social media helps them to give leads about the stories, which traditional newspapers can pick it up and then present it in a way with in depth and with a lot of how in the interest of they can present a nice way actually. Yeah. So social media has got definitely helps editors. All editors must be in social media. They must have a Twitter account, for example. So it helps them to constantly get to know the pulse of the reader. And same time, and also more and more readers are getting onto social media. So that means we should have our own social media engines, that would and that reader would also get attached to that. So in a way, one way we are able to extend the reach of our newspaper as news media through social media, and we are able to touch with the readers. At the same time, it also helps editors to know what is the latest is happening. Social media it will only grow, and then we should take benefit of its growth. Yeah.
So when it comes to the newspaper industry, so the reliability of the news is play a vital role in the industry. So WAN-IFRA has taken an initiative to train people or to conduct any workshops in terms of vaccination.
Yeah. We have a program for editors, various kinds of program about reporting. See, one of the core values of WAN-IFRA is also credible journalism. One is efficient operations, profitability of business. At the same time, credibility of journalism. So to that extent, we run we offer workshops about reporting, writing for media, different media, digital media. So these are some of the things that we do. Yeah, of course we do that, and wherever there has been a case of credible journalism that has given results, we also highlight them in our conferences. So that we all benefit from each other.